Okay. Welcome back, students. Welcome to Psir. Today we will see about the answer writing session. How to write answers. I discussed with most of you today. Only few students wrote the exam. Many students have not written the exam. And out of the few students who have written the exam, almost 30 students I already discussed, and a few students I will discuss with them individually after this class is over. And for online students, only 3 students have written online, and for those students, tomorrow we will fix a Zoom session. I will individually discuss with you guys. Okay. My suggestion is, all of you please write PSIR exam every month. Okay. It will help all of you. Okay. It will also help us to see your progress, how you are doing well in PSIR. And the simple, what I have discussed with most of you is, after the discussion, what I found is, most of you don't give enough time for political science and international relations. Okay. These things I was assuming, but this assumption has become true today after discussing with you guys. Okay. This assumption has become true. So what I found is, like, you give a lot of importance to your general studies preparation, and you give very less importance to political science and international relations preparation. Okay. See, don't do that. And I would suggest, as I've already told you many times in class, at least 4 hours you have to give every day. But what I found from every one of you is, like, most of the students have this problem of switching over in the middle. Okay, which I can understand, very much understand. If you have the problem of switching over in the middle, no problem. Then I will suggest you an alternative idea. What you do is, like, every week you keep at least 1 day specific for political science and international relations. 1 day. I will suggest you 2 days. I will suggest you 2 days. But if you can't give you 2 days, give us 2 days, at least give me 1 day. And in that whole day, at least read some 8 to 10 hours of only PSIR, nothing else. Only PSIR every week. Okay. At least, for example, if you are giving some 10 hours of preparation that particular day, or 8 hours of preparation after your class hours of 5 hours is over, okay, you give only 8 hours of preparation that particular day, give the whole 8 hours to political science and international relations. Okay, that would be better at least. Okay, I would suggest that you give at least some 2 days of whole day of preparation to political science and international relations. In that case, we will get some at least some 8 hours or 16 hours of PSIR. Okay, that we will get. Why I am telling you this is, after seeing most of your papers, to be very honest, as any faculty would say, I am disappointed. Okay, we don't get satisfaction even if you get full marks. Even then you will say there's a problem here and there. I want every one of you to succeed. So I am disappointed, honestly disappointed, but lot to improve. I spoke with many people individually, and many people are actually very good when they discuss with me individually. They are very good, they are extremely talented, they have everything, but somewhere or other it has not reflected in the answers that is there. Some way, I do not know why that is not been reflected. When I spoke with them, I found that they have some blocks, some kind of mental blocks inside to convert that from what they think in their brain and what they write there. Everyone has their own personal mental blocks, and some people say they don't remember that, some people say they have everything but they could not convert it. All these things individually you have to work it out, guys. Okay, I am here as a mentor always. Anytime after class you can speak with me. Online students also, if you have to interact with me, you speak with the admin, they will put you a Zoom meeting with me. I will speak with them to put a Zoom meeting. Anytime if you want to discuss with me personally also, I am here. I will discuss with you. Okay, I am here, but you have to work it out. Okay, that is the reason initially what all faculty will do is, once the question paper is done, before that they will tell you how to write, how to go about answer sheet. But I am a strong believer of individual thing. So I always do, like, first you write, then I will discuss with you, then after discussing at all of your point, I will have a class to how to write a answer sheet. That is what this class is all about. Because I am a strong believer that every individual has their own style. We cannot structure it properly. This is how the introduction should be, this is how the body should be, this is how the conclusion should be. I always believe that should not be done. Okay. For those persons for whom they don't have any clarity about how to write the answer sheet, then this class will help you. Okay. Only for those persons. For those persons who already have a clarity, which I found in very few persons here, who already have a clarity, they have an approach, they have their own tailor-made approach, they know what suits for them. I don't want to touch that individual style. Okay. Because I am a strong believer that only individual style will take you to greatness. Certain things cannot be taught always. Okay. I am a strong believer in it. So that is what I tried. But I would say that I was a little bit disappointed with the way that you approached. Many people content was there. But the grammar and the vocabulary was missing. But many people vocabulary, most of the people, what I was very happy with most of my students is like your grammar, your presentation, your sentence formation, or vocabulary is most of the time is good. But content is missing. But content, don't worry. Okay, content, don't worry. What it shows, like you have to work a lot. That's it. You have to work a lot. Okay. If the content is missing, then simple solution. Read. That's it. Okay. You will forget it, read again. You forget it, you read again. Okay. Don't worry that you are forgetting it. It's a human tendency to forget things. Okay. It's a human tendency. Forget it, don't worry, read again. Okay. It's a simple solution. Right. Okay. Now we will see individually. I will read out the question papers, every question individually, and I will tell you how to write those questions and what are the common mistakes that my students have did. Okay, I will also tell you what are the common mistakes that all you guys have did, and from the common mistakes I will also tell you what should not be done and how to write. Okay, all these things we will see in today's session. Probably it will 1 hour. Even if it goes for 2 hours, it's not a problem. If it's 1 hour, it's okay. The remaining hour, I will take justice. We will see how long it goes. I want every one of you to be a little bit of more interactive in the session, because I found that many students have not written the paper, so they have not come there to speak with me individually. So even for those students should get good benefited because of the session. So I want every one of you to get to interact with me. So for online students, the number is it is 733 8863 555. It is 733 8863 555. Okay. So online students can interact with me then and there immediately. Okay. So let's go into the section directly. That is previous test questions. I am going to discuss now how to write answers for each question. What should be done, what should not be done, we will discuss it now. Right. So the first question, what is the first question? Write a short note on Dalit perspective of INM. Write a short note on Dalit perspective of Indian national movement. Okay. Right. This is the first question. Correct. Write a short note on Dalit perspective of Indian national movement. Correct. Now, as I have segregated it, this is how immediately your mind see. Whenever you start reading a question, okay, what is the very first thing that should come in your mind is? Okay, that is something that in general reasoning techniques we will teach you. I think you would have read that reasoning assumptions. What is an assumption? I hope the class is already over. See, if it is not over, this is what an assumption is. Whenever a statement is made, now you have to put yourself in the shoes of the person who has made the statement. Understood? Assume yourself to be the person who made the statement. Now, after that, by making the statement, what is the intention of the person? You have to assume. Every question immediately after seeing the question, that should come in your mind. Okay, so now you become the question paper maker. You have written a question like, write a short note on Dalit perspective of Indian national movement. So what is that I expect from the person who writes the answer? Immediately you have to, this is automatically, this should come in your mind. Automatically this should come in your mind. So what is expected? You should have some clarity. Okay, so write a short note on Dalit's perspective on Indian national movement. What is expected of this question? Now I will give you certain techniques to decipher it into small things to understand what is expected. Okay, so the first ideal thing is you go directly to the question paper's mind. Okay, put yourself in the shoes of the question paper and try to understand what is expected and why this particular person has made this question. Okay, what is expecting from you to write? Okay, you put yourself in that zone and start to ask answers. Right, okay. So now coming back to the tools. First is, the next important thing that should come in your mind is you have to see what is the question. Whether it's a write short note or it is a comment or it explain or describe or substantiate or justify or examine or critically examine. Okay, there could be any way the question could be asked. Any way the question could be. So immediately after putting yourself in the shoes, that is the first thing that you do. Okay, the next important thing immediately you have to see is what is the question, what is asked in the question. Whether it is a write a short note or it is a explain or it is a describe, okay, or it is a, say, all these things, short note, explain or describe, I will put this into separate category. Short note, explain or describe, let's put it in a different category. Okay, then we will put something called a substantiate and justify, another category. Okay, then I will put comment, discuss is missing here. Comment, discuss in another category. Then I will put examine, critically examine in another category. Okay, so every of these questions have to be approached in a different way. Okay, a short note, a explain, a describe has to be approached a little bit differently from a substantiate, a justify, and it has to be approached a little bit differently from a comment or a discuss, a little bit differently from the examine and critically examine. All are closer. Okay, there is no hard and fast rule that you should not write this. You should not write it. But these are certain rules that have to be followed. Okay, so these are certain things that immediately you have to follow. Right. Short note, explain, describe, substantiate, justify, comment, discuss, examine, critically examine. So that is the very next thing that you are going to see in a question paper. The question. Got it, guys? So what is the first thing that you are going to do? You are going to put yourself in the shoes of the question paper maker. What is the intention of the question paper maker? What he seeks from you? What he seeks from you? That is, see, all these things is going to help you to get the exact assumption. All these things are small tools. But reading the question itself, sir, I am very good in getting the intentions clear. Then okay, all these next tools is not required. Okay. So immediately you have to put yourself in the question paper maker. Want to know what are the intentions of the question paper? Point number 1. Point number 2. Now I am going to see the intention with some tools. What are the tools? First let me see what is the question. Whether it's a write short note on, or it is a explain, or a describe, or a substantiate, or a justify, or a comment, or a discuss, or a examine, or a critically examine. What question is this? Okay. Because every question needs to be approached differently. Every question needs to be approached differently. Right. For example, a substantiate or a justify. A substantiate or a justify, what it says, substantiate or justify? 1 minute. Whatever that is given in the question, whatever that is given in the question, you are not going to take an opposite point of view there, because the question itself has clearly said substantiate, justify. If the question takes a point of view, for example, the question takes a point of view. The question says, because of the rise of Marxism in the world, because of the rise of Marxism in the world has seen an economic slump. Okay, the world has seen an economic slump in between 1960s to 1980s. This is the statement that is given. You might or might not approve the statement. Completely, it might be a completely wrong statement. You might not approve the statement, because the statement is said because of the rise of Marxism in the world has seen an economic slump from 1960s to 1980s. Okay, and it says, and the world was saved by the advent of neoliberalism and globalization after 1980s. This is the statement that is given in the question paper. Okay, in the inverted commas, and some thinker's name is given, XYZ, and after that they say substantiate or justify. You need not go against what is the point of view in the question paper, because the question asks you to only justify it. So you have to take examples from the world history. Okay, you have to take examples from the world history to give substantiate the above statement. That's it. Okay, you have to take examples from the world history, that what you have read. Okay, and you have to say that yes, it is right. That's it. But if the same question is given, even for substantiate, justify, same answer. But if the same question is given, the same statement is given, what is the statement? The world has seen economic slump because of the rise of Marxism from 1960s to 1980s, and the world has been saved by the advent of neoliberalization and globalization after 1980. This is a statement. After giving the statement, they are saying examine or critically examine or critically evaluate. Critically evaluate or evaluate anything. Okay, any of these things come. The same statement. Now, you should not just justify or take the same point of view of the question. You have to evaluate it. You have, what is evaluation? Like how I evaluate? You write an answer. I will say whether the grammar is correct, vocabulary is correct, whether content is correct. Correct. I am correcting it. If something is wrong, I will mention that is wrong. That is what I evaluate. Correct. If something is wrong, I will put it is wrong. Then I will call you and tell you this is wrong. That is what you have to do in the exam. Answer. So if it is an evaluate, if it is an examine, it is a critically evaluate, a critically examine, all are almost the same. All are almost the same. Okay. So what you will do, you will examine the particular statement, whether the statement is right or wrong. Okay. Statement is right or wrong. That's it. So both negative points, predominantly negative points, you have to furnish it. Not necessarily predominantly, but that is how the question generally would be. A lot of negative points also you have to say. Examine. Okay, so you have to say, initially you can say yes, to an extent neoliberalism has saved the world. That is correct. Okay, after 1980s, the neoliberalism saved the world, that is correct. But we cannot exactly say, only because of Marxism the world has gone to economic slum. The import substitution strategy the whole of the world followed cannot be attributed only to the Marxism or socialist doctrine that was there. Other world economic situation also mandated that most countries, the third world countries and certain European countries, to follow the import substitution strategies that was followed during the 1960s-1980s. Okay. So democracy was also another reason. Vote bank politics. Why Indira Gandhi went for a pure socialistic turn in India, India's political economy? 1967, all of you would have known. Okay, Garibi Hatao, the slogan that was given by Indira Gandhi. Indira Gandhi at that point of time was struggling between the leaders and herself. She wanted to assert a domination over the people. Okay, in other words, she wanted to get a lot of support, public support. How to get the public support? So Indira Gandhi immediately declared, all the Congress leaders, because of this Congress policy that we are suffering, I am going to turn completely socialist. The slogan Garibi Hatao came. Import substitution strategies was increased in pace. Okay, all of the progress that was done during the Nehru's times was a little bit reduced. Okay, and the vote bank politics was the major reason for India to go into import substitution strategies during Indira Gandhi times, and nationalization, all the things happened, not Marxism as an ideology. So this you can write it. And you say the statement is partially right and partially wrong. There are also certain historical events which says otherwise. Critically examining it. You understood? So you need not accept the point of view. That is how you have to approach these questions, guys. So if it is a substantial justify, whatever that is said in the question paper, question up. Just follow it. Just follow it. The point of view of the question paper, just follow it. You are not going to go against the point of view of the question paper. If it is substantiate or justify, the question that is asked. Okay, the particular question. Okay. But if it is a critically examine, critically evaluate, then the point of view drastically changes, where you try to see what every question says. What every question, every word says. Okay, of the particular statement. Okay, every word says in the particular statement. So, after examining every word, if there is anything that is wrong, you point that out. Okay, you have to approach. Right. Now, what is the status of comment and discuss? I would say degree varies, guys. Degree varies. See, let me put this way for your simple explanation. Okay. The degree of critical comments that should be there in the answer. If it is examine, critically examine, 4 comes here. Okay. This is 3. Comment, discuss is 3. Okay. Short note, explain is 2. Substantiate, justify is 1. Okay. This side I will put critical comments. This side I will put no critical comments. Can you understand? So the degree varies. If it is short note, which is 1. Substantiate, justify is 1. Short note, explain is describe is 2. If it is substantiate, justify, then no critical comments. If it is short note, explain and describe, then certain amount of critical comments is allowed, but predominantly you have to go with the point of view of the question paper. If it is comment or discuss, then certain more is allowed, critical comments are allowed, but predominantly you have to be a little bit closer to the comment section, but more comments should not be given. Okay, more critical comments should not be given. If it is critically examine, evaluate, purely evaluate, then you are free to write a lot of critical comments of the point of view of the question paper. Okay, this is how the degree varies. Always keep this in mind. What to write in the question paper, sir? Any doubt, ask me. If you do not understand, again I will put this tabular column, this diagram. Online students, then and there, if you have any doubt, ask me. Make this session useful. Okay, so the degree of comments varies. When you go to this spectrum, critical comments increase. Okay, if you go to the right hand side of the spectrum, critical comments increase. So 1, 0 comment, 2, less critical comments, 3, more critical comments, 4, extremely more critical comments. Okay, so when you go to the right hand side of the spectrum, you have to write a lot of critical comments. So what is 1? Justify, substantiate. Justify, substantiate. So very less number of critical comments or 0 critical comments. Don't write critical comments at all. Then it comes short notes, explain, describe. Where you are asked to only describe a thing. Okay, you are only going to describe a phenomena, describe behavioral revolution. You are asked to describe a phenomena. So in that case, only in the conclusion for 30 words, only in the conclusion of 30 words, you can write some critical comment and finish. And even that you need not write in the first case. No critical comment even in the conclusion. Here, only in the conclusion you include a critical comment and finish. For example, the question is discuss, comment. So what you will do? So a little bit on the conclusion, you can give 30 words of the conclusion. Okay, you can give critical comments, and in the body also, if you find comments are required, critical comments are required, you can furnish it. That is what the intention of the question paper maker. What is the intention? He does not want to give a lot of negative comments, but he wants you to give negative comments if it is there. If it is there. Okay, so he intends that you give some kind of negative if it is there. So if it is relevant for 50-60 words, you can write some kind of negative comments. If it is a comment or a discuss. Okay, also if it is a comment or a discuss, you can check the utility. Generally that is how you discuss has to be written. Write it down, write it down. If it is a discuss, check the utility of the particular phenomena. Okay, if it is a discuss, all these things you have to do. Okay, if it is tilting towards 4, that is examine, critically examine, evaluate, critically evaluate, then the question paper maker is expecting you to write a lot of negative points. That is the reason the question paper maker is given the word examine. Okay, he wants you to examine it. Yes, please. Yes, opinion is there. Anyway, comment is opinion. That is there. That is the meaning of it. I will come there. But I am trying to give how many critical comments should come. Okay, I will come there. That point is there. I will come there. Okay, don't worry. Okay. So, how many? This is only about how many critical comments, because I found in many of the answers you do not know how to conclude. Okay, I will come there. Okay, always keep this rule. Once after giving this rule, I will tell you what is the body, what is the conclusion. In body, this part will come. Comment part will come. I will come there. Okay, so don't worry. Now listen. Okay, so if it is a discuss or a comment, so how many critical comments you will give? So the question paper maker is expecting that if it is there, they are expecting you to give 1 or 2 critical comments. Okay, if it is a discuss or a comment. If the question is examine or critically examine, evaluate or critically evaluate, then the question paper maker is expecting you to give a lot of critical comments to the particular point. Critically evaluate Marxism, critically evaluate communitarianism, or critically evaluate Rawls' theory of justice. The question is that then you need not spend a lot of time explaining Rawls' theory of justice. You have to evaluate how it works. A lot of criticism that was put forth by communitarians and other people, you understand, has to be furnished there. How entitlement theory of justice, Robert Nozick went against John Rawls' theory of justice. What are the comments that he gave? You have to furnish that, because the question is critically evaluate Rawls' theory of justice. So Rawls' theory of justice, you have to write only few words. Then you have to directly jump into critical evaluation. Then you have to tell about what the other thinkers like Robert Nozick thought about it, how Alfred Walser, the other person, he thought about it. All these things you have to write it. You understand? Because the question is expecting, the question paper maker is expecting that you write some evaluation of Rawls' theory of justice based on other thinkers. So you have to give a lot of critical comments to it. This is the second immediate thing that you have to think before going into the introduction, body and conclusion. Okay. So what you write in the introduction, what you write in the body, what you write in the conclusion, I will come there. Okay, don't confuse as of now. Don't confuse as of now. Now immediately after seeing the question, now going back, where is it? Okay. Now going back to the previous question. Immediately what you will see, you will put yourself in the shoes of the question paper maker. Now you start to get the intention of the question paper maker. So what is the first thing that you look is whether it's a write short note on, or it is examine, or it is evaluate, or it's a discuss. You understand what the question is? That is the first thing you have to look. All these things has to happen in microseconds, guys. Microseconds. You cannot take 5 minutes to decipher it. Okay. All things has to be computed. It will happen with practice. Okay. Right. Okay. Now the real answering part comes. Real answering part comes. Now after seeing what is there in the question, okay, after seeing what is the question, now again I write the question, write short notes on Dalit perspective of INM. Okay. Now direct answering part comes. Okay. Now a general answering will start with introduction, then it will have a body, then it will have a conclusion. Now you should know what is introduction, what you are going to introduce. Then you should know what is the body, what you have to write in the body. Then you know what is conclusion, you should know what is conclusion, what you have to write in the conclusion. Right? So this is the next thing that you have to look. So first thing you look, you will put inside the shoes of the question paper maker, then you will see what is the question. Now you are coming to this answering part. Now what will we introduce? What will we introduce? After seeing the question, the immediate thing that should come in your mind is what is the central object of the question? What is the central point of the question? What is the central point of discussion of the question? That is what you are going to introduce. Okay, that is what you are going to introduce. That is the immediately that should come in your mind. Sometimes there is a possibility, as there is in this question, there are two technical terms. One is Dalit perspective, another one is Indian national movement. Okay, there are two technical terms. So you make note of both the technical terms, Dalit perspective and Indian national movement. So this question has some two important terminologies. So now within a fraction of a second, you have to decide what you are going to introduce in the introduction. Again, what will predominantly come in the body. Okay. So in the body, since the question is Dalit perspective, you are going to write about the Dalit perspective of international movement. So as the introduction, you have to introduce either the Dalit or international movement. Correct? Either of them they have to introduce. Okay. You can take any point of view. Okay. For example, you like to introduce Indian national movement, then you can start like this. So Indian national movement, there is a national movement that ran from the last part of 19th century till India got independence, and Indian national movement had different perspectives or different points of view, different groups of people, and Dalits also had a specific view of seeing the Indian national movement. This is the introduction you give. Okay, nothing wrong with it. Okay, because there are two technical terms you have deciphered. One technical term is Indian national movement, another technical term is Dalit. Okay, so either way you can introduce, but I will prefer for such questions introduce Dalit. That is my preference. But always you need not follow. That is the reason I already told you. Answer writing is an individual speciality. Everyone are individually different. Okay, we cannot train you. This is the way. I can give you options only. That is the thing. I give you a lot of options. So after seeing the question, you have to immediately connect. You have to immediately figure out what is the central point. There are two technical terms. One is Dalit, another one is Indian national movement. So what I am going to introduce? Okay, if you want to introduce Indian national movement, okay, introduce. Okay, so this is what Indian national movement is. This is the movement which came from this time period to this time period, and Dalit, there are different perspectives of seeing the international movement, and one such perspective, Dalit perspective, you introduced it. Now the body, ideally, you will speak about what is that Dalit, because you already introduced what is the international movement and what is the Dalit perspective. So you automatically write about Dalit perspective. This is one way, but I will go the reverse. Okay, I will introduce who is Dalit. Why? Because it's a technical term. Most of the people who correct the answer will always expect whether you know it or not. They will always expect, because vaguely you can write Dalit, Ambedkar told this about Dalit, Gandhi told, and probably out of the 5 points you have written, 1 or 2 points might be correct. But how that person who corrects the answer sheet will know you 100% know this answer? How you will make them know that you 100% know this answer? First of all, there is a technical term of Dalit there. So define a Dalit. That is the reason I always used to say, if liberalism comes, define liberalism. Socialism comes, define socialism as an introduction. Okay, so that the person who corrects the answer sheet will immediately know that you are not written something vaguely. You know what you are answering. You know what you are answering. Okay, if you write about socialism, so these are the basic tenets of socialism, and you try to give a lot of basic tenets of socialism, that's okay. Vaguely, 1 or 2 things might be right what you have written, but 100% how you will make the answer paper correcter, that you know what is socialism. So define what is socialism, the very first line itself. Understood? Define socialism, what is the very first line itself. That is what? That is my preference, guys. Okay, you can take any point of view. If there is 2 technical terms that is there in the question, like how it is there, 2 central points of argument, any one thing you can introduce, but don't introduce both. If it is a 200 or a 250 word question or a 300 word question, then it's okay. Okay, if it's the same question has come as a 20-mark question, okay, then you have enough time to introduce both the Indian national movement and Dalit. But its question itself is 150 word question. Then don't introduce both and waste time. Then you will not get good marks. That rationality should be there. Okay, so either one thing I am going to introduce first. So I will introduce Dalit. I will define who is Dalit. Then I will not introduce what is the international movement, Indian national movement, because I assume that you know what is the international, because there is no time. It is only 150 word question. Then I will directly jump to the body. Okay, so how the Dalits saw about the Indian national movement that is there. Then they will say the Dalits perspective of Indian national movement is not uniform. Different Dalit leaders had different perspective of Indian national movements. To write a few, then I will list few important thinkers. So as I have seen in your answers, many have written about Psir, Okay. On record I am saying this, don't use Psir. Okay, don't use Psir, that is wrong. Okay, I know one of the Delhi University, Delhi IAS Academy has given a notes which says Psir, that is 100% wrong. Okay, Psir cannot come inside Dalit perspective. Okay, so Psir belongs to a non-Brahmin perspective. Non-Brahmin perspective. Neither he has defined Dalits nor he has worked a lot for Dalits. So any person who comes to correct an answer sheet from Tamil Nadu or South India will find that offensive. Okay, so why to take a chance? Why to take a chance? Okay, don't use Psir. Okay, but you can use other leaders like Jyotiba Phule. Even though Jyotiba Phule is not a typical Dalit, but he has worked a lot for Dalit, and in fact Jyotiba Phule is the first person who defined who is Dalit, who called Dalits as broken people. He coined the term Dalit, Jyotiba Phule. Okay, so nothing wrong in calling Jyotiba Phule Dalit perspective, even though he is not a typical Dalit. Okay, Jyotiba Phule, then go with MC Raja, which I got in the PPT, then go with Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. 3 points of view. So both Jyotiba Phule and Mr. MC Raja had a hard point of view on Indian national movement, as you know. Both of them wanted that India should not get independence immediately. The reason being the Britishers is much better. If you transfer power from the Britishers to the Brahmins, they will be oppressed a lot. Okay, Jyotiba Phule, even though has not said this word, Jyotiba Phule is little bit eulogized the British system at that point of time. MC Raja openly declared, we don't want any home rule movement, we don't want any independence because it will oppress Dalits more. But Ambedkar had a moderate point of view. Ambedkar said, you can live a dignified life only in an independent society. I accept that Dalits need independence, so does India. But that independence, what should precede that independence? Social democracy, said Ambedkar. Okay, so that you have to record it. Okay, so that is how the body of the question goes. This is where, as one of our students asked, what to write in the body, whether it's a write short note or comment or critically comment, comes into being. Okay, if it is a comment, depending upon the question, you can write a little bit of commentary on the answer. For this question, you cannot do it. Even if it is a comment on Dalit perspective of Indian national movement, you cannot comment a lot in the body, but you can give a little bit of critical comment on the conclusion and finish it off. But certain questions, like if it is a real life politics, okay, comment on the vote bank politics that is happening in India at the moment. Okay, so that is the question that has come. Then you need not go directly into the theories of vote bank politics. If it is describe vote bank politics, then in the body you will be describing a lot about vote bank politics. What is vote bank politics? You're explaining all these things you will do. But if it is a comment on vote bank politics, then you will go on commentary. And then you will write, okay, vote bank politics is ruining India for these things, and many political parties will take the example of this political party, that political party, because of vote bank politics, they support one group of people who give a lot of vote bank, for example, Dalit group or a business group or a tribal group or officers group or teachers group, anything based on recent examples. Okay, because of vote bank politics, we see the government is tilting towards this particular group of people against justice. Okay, very good, because this is the commentary that you can give. So the body, okay, is this for us? No. Online students, even if you have any doubt, don't call, you message me, okay, in WhatsApp. Okay, you message me in WhatsApp, so I won't take calls, even it is for PSIR, right? Okay, so this body, that question describes. For example, if in our question, it is only write short notes on. Only write short notes on. So you need not give any real life commentary. What is the real life commentary? Like how is a cricket match? If you go to a commentary, ESPN Quick Info, what they will give you? They will give you commentary on what is happening, live commentary of when this person came, this person bowled. It's a kind of a commentary. Okay, a commentary will comment on the proceedings. That's it. Okay, so in that question, which I assumed comment on the vote bank politics of India, then you have to comment on the proceedings. How vote bank politics is happening today? If I ask you describe vote bank politics in India, then in the body you have to write a theoretical aspect of vote bank politics a lot, and the comment section could be lesser. All these things immediately should come in your mind, immediately. So what should there be in the body? And what is there in the body? Again, this write short notes on will dictate. Any doubt in this? So again I will write this for simple explanation. Okay. See the question. Write short notes on Dalit's perspective of Indian national movement. So you saw that it's short note. So you understood that lot of critical comment is not required. Only few critical comments are required. All these things you understood. Since it is a short note, you might or might not write a critical comment. That is up to your discretion. Okay, because it's a short note. Okay, so technically I would say don't write. I would say don't write because it's only a short note. Okay, so introduce immediately. You have to grasp the central point of the question that is there. Here there is two central points. One is Dalit, another one is Indian national movement. Either way you can introduce. Okay, then after introducing it, don't waste time in introducing the other thing, because waste of time. Only 150 words are there. Why to waste time? Why to waste words? Because one introduction itself 30 words will be gone. Only 150 words. Then what time you will give, what words you will give for the body? Understand, always remember, many students have not maintained time. For the 10 mark question, 7 minutes. For the 20 mark question, 14 minutes. For the 15 mark question, 10 minutes. This is the maximum time that you can go. Maximum time. Now itself practice. In that 7 minutes, first half a minute you have to take for structuring this introduction, body and conclusion. Go to the last page, the rough page of every answer sheet. Immediately you write, this is intro, plan, this is what I am going to write in intro. Okay, these are the thinkers I am going to write. I am going to write Phule, I am going to write MC Raja, I am going to write Ambedkar in the body. Then conclusion, since I write short note, I am not going to critically conclude. This is what I am going to conclude. Plan it, 30 seconds. 30 seconds, that's it. Okay, this planning you have to do in the rough page. Okay, then now come to writing. Because I found many people are writing some lines and they do not know what to write next. So they don't know what to extend, how many words to write about Phule, how many words to write about Gandhi or Ambedkar. They do not know to restrict because they have not planned it before. Okay, this will not happen if you planned it for 30 seconds. Now come back. So I introduce Dalit, write about these three thinkers, Phule, Raja, Dr. Ambedkar. Then, since it's a short note, without any critical comment, you finish it off. Come conclude. How to conclude? Simple conclusion. Even though there are many variations of the Dalit perspective, predominantly we can understand that the Dalits wanted freedom, but there was a precondition for achieving freedom, nothing but social democracy. Finish it off. That's it. Okay. So you are not trying to insult a group of people there. Safe aside. Okay. Safe aside. Even though there are people who are against Indian freedom, what if a person who comes from a Dalit background? So to be safe aside, you say in the conclusion, you say this is how it is. Okay. Other critical points you have given already in the body if needed. Okay. Because already you told about what MC Raja told. Okay. We said that we don't want freedom. It was already that mentioned there. But in the conclusion, a safer conclusion, finish it off, end it. That's it. Okay, that is how you have to approach a question, guys. Let's see another question. Let's take another question. I will take all questions, don't worry. Okay, I will take all questions. Second question. Nation, state is born when political boundaries and the cultural boundaries of the region meets. What is this question I have given? Explain. Explain, again, it's like a describe. Okay, again it's like a short notes. Okay. So it depends upon your discretion. They are only asking you to give an explanation on this. Okay. So you need not give a lot of critical comments. Immediately that fix in your mind. The second stage itself you have to fix that in mind. I need not. If I want, I can, but I need not, because it's only explain. With this, you see the central argument of the question. What is the central argument of the question? Nation state. That's it. So nation state. Put it. So introduce. What will you introduce? Because nation separately, independently has a meaning, state independently has a meaning, nation state jointly also has a meaning, all are different from each other. Either way you can answer this question creatively. You can introduce state, you can introduce nation, or you can introduce nation state. Okay, it's up to you, your writing style. Again I am going to force it. Okay, either way you can go about it. So I want to introduce nation state, the very first thing itself, sir. Then in the body, I will explain how both interconnects. There I will say what is a nation, what is the state separately, sir. Then I will conclude with the same definition. That is how I want to approach. Go ahead, no problem. Because this question demands that. Or sir, I want to introduce nation first. Then I will introduce state. Then I will come to chronologically, I will come to nation state. Because all of you know, nation state is a historical product. It was born in the historicity of First World War. Okay, the concept might be a little bit older, probably in the middle of the 19th century, this concept of nation state came, but it was extremely made famous in the 14 points of Woodrow Wilson that was given during the First World War. Okay, 1917, 1918. Right. So immediately that was approved by V.A. Lenin also. You know, the Russian Revolution happened somewhere around 1917. Okay. So in the middle of the First World War, Lenin also comes into being, and he also accepts the concept of national self-determination, where every nation should have a right to have its own political body. That is what national self-determination is all about. So nation state is a historical product which was born in the specific historical period, rooted between the world wars, especially the First World War. Okay, even though many nation states born in the First World War, few others were born after the Second World War. Okay, where it was almost mandated that all colonies would be liberated. Okay, all colonial masters all decided, European countries decided that they will liberate all the colonies because of the Second World War. You understood? So this historicity I want to mention. Go ahead. I won't say it should not be there, but logically you have to connect to the question. That is the reason I say individuality, you can do whatever you want, but you should not deviate from the question. Okay, So nation I will introduce first, then I will introduce state, then I will go to the body where I will substantiate how a nation and the state mingles during a specific historical period and the concept was born and how the nation and state. Or I will take a completely different point of view, sir. I would say, even though it's explained, I will go a little differently, that nation is an emotional concept. Okay. Today, one person has written like that, and I also appreciated this point of view. National is an emotional concept. So today, every state is trying to build the concept of nationalism by nation building and try to make a state as a nation state. So nation state is dynamic nature. It's a product of a dynamic process that every state takes. Very good point of view. I would say it's a very good point of view. I won't say don't write it. If you can substantiate, even that point of view is very good, because that is true, relatively true. Every country, every state is trying to make their state as a nation state. India is also trying to do it. Okay, we ask everyone how to stand in national anthem. Correct. We try to inculcate the values of nationalism in every one of us. We are trying to create an emotion of being an Indian. So nation state is all about Indian, but it is again the question that is asked, where the cultural boundaries you contest that. You contest that. Okay. So you try to say the nation is not about just about the cultural boundaries. It is about an emotional feeling that every nation has a process trying to create. This is what the culture is all about. Like how India, after the BJP government, is trying to create that India means Hindu culture. Correct? So Hindustan is nothing but India. So we as a Hindu are one nation. It's a kind of a process that has been happening today. Okay. So similarly happened with Tamil Nadu politics also, Dravidian politics. What they started doing, they started to make that Dravidian as one nation. Nation building. You understand? So you try to contest the very question that is there. I will advise don't do it, but even if you want to take the point of view, take it. You understand? But you have to substantiate with points. That is the reason I always say there is no one way of writing an answer, but the structure you have to maintain: introduction, body, conclusion. So what you are going to introduce, you should have a clarity. For this introduction, this is what the body is. You should have the clarity. And I am going to conclude based on what is there here. If it is explain, if it is a write, if it is a critical command, it's a command, evaluate, justify. Understood? This clarity you should have. Okay. So either way, guys, train yourself. That is the reason I would say write lot of previous year questions. If possible, write in a notebook and show it to me. Even if every week it is not possible, once in a month you show it to me. Take a notebook, every week you write it. At least you solve 2 or 3 previous year questions. Write that in a notebook. Okay. Once in a month, come and show it to me. The one notebook, bring it. I will correct it and give it to you. Even if you don't find time, then what you do is, you only structure it and keep it and show it to me. Sir, 2024 questions I have structured, sir. See the structure. Whether the structure is correct or wrong. This will I write in introduction, sir. This I will write in body, sir. This I will conclude this. I will write in conclusion, sir. And this diagram I am going to put, sir. And this goat I am going to furnish. Only this you write and show it to me. You need not write the total answer. So, plan this structuring, practice this structuring for all previous year questions, all previous questions. It is not practically possible for all of you to write and practice all previous year questions. But it is practically possible for all of you to structure all previous, yes or no? Definitely it is possible. Definitely it is possible, because it will not take more time. 30 seconds you have to structure, guys. 30 seconds. Every question, that is the time that will be available during your exam. Within 30 seconds, you have to structure the answer and give the rough page. Then you have to start answering. Right? So every day, forget 30 seconds, take 2 minutes. Every day, you take some 2 or 3 previous questions, structure it and keep it in a separate notebook. Once in a month, show it to me with the question and the structure. I will see and tell you what could be done. I will not touch your individuality. Definitely, I am not that person to touch your individual, because I strongly believe that certain things should not be coached. Okay, especially for optional subject, I strongly believe it should not be coached in the very way there is one, because there is no one recipe for success. There is no one recipe for success. Okay, success has different recipes. It has different recipes. Okay, I will not teach you this is the way, but I will give you options. I will give you options. This is how you can proceed. This is how you can proceed. This way you can go. This way. If this is the introduction you take, then this should be your conclusion. That don't change. Okay, all these things you should be very wary of, right? Okay, so the question of nation state, introduce nation, introduce state, then go to the specificity of the historical specificity of how nation state is born, then define a nation state and finish it off very simply. A simple answer will also give you 6 to 7 marks, depends upon your handwriting. Okay, I already told you, handwriting is must. If you have a very good handwriting, then for 10 mark question, maximum 7 you can expect. 7, 7.5 in PSIR you can expect. 7 you can expect. 7.5 I am not very sure. 7 you can expect maximum in a PSIR paper. Okay, if a 10 mark question is. Okay, but provided your handwriting should be good. The presentation should be good. How you present, guys? Already I told you individually, underline each word. Important words. Underline each important words. Always write as a paragraph. Always write as a paragraph. Always write as a paragraph. Okay. In PSIR. In GS, your GS teacher would have told write as points. But in PSIR, only if it is needed. For example, they are asking you about the important points of Machiavelli on, say, on religion. Okay. So this is all that they asked you. So then, for this question of Machiavelli on religion, technically nothing wrong in writing as points. Okay. So Machiavelli had different points of view of religion. I have summed it up. You can write it summed up as follows. And point number 1, point number 2, you can sum it up, because there are 2 different points, 3 different points. You can sum it up. For certain questions, it is needed. For example, again in Indian polity, you might face a situation where you might be asked to write about the constitutional provisions of certain institutions. Okay. So then, technically, if it is a constitutional provision, then 1, 2, 3, you can list it. But for 70-80% of the question, avoid numbering. Always paragraph. Always paragraph. Okay. Also, for example, the same question. Okay. You are going to write Dr. Ambedkar believed that social democracy. Okay. It goes like that. Okay. What I am seeing is many students writes like Ambedkar's point of view. And they underline it. Then they write it. Then they write Phule's point of view. Then underline. Then they write it. Then they write MC Raja's point of view. These headings avoid. Rather, make this a separate paragraph, and in the separate paragraph, you can write directly like this and underline this. You can underline this. Dr. Ambedkar believed. Social democracy also you can underline. Use another color. If you are writing in black, write a blue pen, underline blue pen. If you are writing in blue pen, underline in black pen. Okay. I will suggest this is the best way, better way. So, one thing is, this method will not take a lot of words. Okay, the word limit you can maintain. Okay, because already is only 150 words. So, Dalit perspective of Indian national movement, there is a lot of things to cover. All these things you have to put inside the 150 words limit. You cannot be writing 200 words or 250 words. So, avoid a separate heading. So, you can save some 20 or 15 or 20 words there. Okay, avoid separate headings. So inside the paragraph, write the separate paragraph. One paragraph for Ambedkar, one paragraph for MC Raja, one paragraph for Jyotiba Phule. Okay, and inside that you underline in a different pen. Sometimes I have seen that they will write the Dr. Ambedkar word itself in a different pen. I also used to do that. Okay, immediately I will having two pens. Immediately I will take it. Ambedkar I will write in black pen, and believed I will write in blue pen, and again I will go social democracy, I write in black pen. Again the other body I will write in blue pen. So important points I will highlight in black pen. That is how I used to write. Okay, that is also could be done. But I will not put any subheadings. Only if it is necessary, I will put the subheading. Only if it is necessary. Not for all questions I will put it. Similarly, not for all questions I will number it. And I am seeing lot of students putting such symbols. I don't know why you are putting such symbols. Please avoid numbering. Also we can accept it. Okay, sometimes they will also accept numbering, but such symbols are unwarranted. Don't do it. Okay, it will not be a good presentation. It will look very bad. It will look very bad. Okay, so don't do it. Got it? So that is how you have to present a paper. So always write as a paragraph. Always underline important things. Need not find any subheadings. Don't put lot of points. If the question really demands points, you can do it. If the question really demands how to check whether the question demands, that comes with experience. Okay, because one student asked me, sir, how to know, sir, which question demands what? Don't worry, that comes with experience. That is the reason I would say, write a lot, read, write, practice. Correct? Practice. It makes you perfect. Okay, it comes with experience. Don't worry, anyway I am here. Anyway, you write and show it to me, I will tell you, and there are the other 5 tests that is left. Okay, I will check and I will give you a lot of comments. Okay, right. Any doubt till now? Any doubt till now? Okay. So this is how you have to present a question, right? Okay. Now let's go to the third question. Discuss about left, right and center in politics. Having understood what is the central point, so what is the intention of the question paper maker, then you have to go to the what is the central point. What is the central point? Politics. Okay, because the left, right and center, it is what you are going to discuss about. So you have to introduce what is politics. Introduction, politics or political ideas. Or political ideologies. Anything you can introduce. Because the left, right and center is nothing but a lineage of a political idea. It is nothing but a lineage of a political ideology or where you lean in politics. I lean towards the left side of the spectrum, sir. I lean towards the center side of the spectrum, sir. I lean towards, or I am in the center, or I don't lean anywhere. So you believe that, right? So every person has already told you, you have some kind of, you lean somewhere. Okay, or you are central. I don't find neutral people always. Okay, so that is how. So that is how you have to introduce. Then come to the body. What is the body? What is the body? Left, right and center. Left, right, center. Conclusion. Since it is discussed, you can write about the utility, as I already told you. If it is discussed, write about the utility. The usefulness of such a concept. Usefulness of such a concept. Whether it is useful, you can say the left, right, center is only for academic segregation. Mostly we find that most of the so-called left parties also do have a lot of right-wing tendencies in them. Example DMK. And most of right-wing parties, like a Republican Party of America, also have a little bit of left-wing tendencies during certain times in American history. Have shown a little bit of left-wing to certain times in American history. You can finish it off as a conclusion. Simple conclusion. Because you are trying to say these left, right and center are not completely exclusive compartments. They also overlap. So you are trying to say left, right, center are not exclusive compartments, they overlap. The political ideas overlap. This is only an analytical and academic exercise. Nothing more than that. You try to say that and conclude it. You understand? That is how the conclusion should go. Utility, usefulness of this left, right and center. So what is left, right and center? Already that I have given in the PPT. One simple correction what I want to make is, most of the people are doing one simple mistake. All the people I would say, one simple mistake you are doing. See, the horseshoe spectrum, the very logic of horseshoe spectrum is, see that this is what a horseshoe is. This is how a horseshoe would be. Okay. Every time I also do a mistake. Okay. This is how a horseshoe would be. Okay. The logic of a horseshoe is, this is center. Okay, this is center. This is right. This is left. See the distance between left and right. It is very far. This is far left. This is far right. Correct. But are they far? Are they far from each other? They are closer. That is how we have to draw. That is how we have to draw. Okay. See, the far left and far right, even though they are the extreme side of the left and right, they do show some common tendencies, like authoritarianism, violence, killing people, genocides. So these are the common tendencies. The history, the world history has shown, even though ideologically they are different extremes. One want to completely change the society, to completely go to a completely new society. Another one wants to go back to the oldest of society, the past. Completely opposite. Far left and far right, even then they show lot of commonness. That is how, so you have to show that in distance. So the distance, right and left should be far away from each other, but far left and far right should be closer to each other. This is what a horseshoe spectrum is all about. See my diagram in the PPT? Most people like this. U, inverted U, and this is center, this is left, this is right, far left, far right. What is the use? Far left and far right still far from each other. Still far from each other. They are not closer. They are not closer. But you have to put a little bit bend. The bend should be there. Okay, small correction. Okay. All otherwise, most of the people have reproduced what is there in the PPT. But the diagram, you have not understood the diagram. You just mugged up the diagram. That's the problem. You have to understand why particular spectrum has been created. Okay. So I would suggest always use the Haas-2 spectrum, or someone doesn't want to use the Haas-2 spectrum, this spectrum also, if you want to use it, use it. But I will suggest don't use the linear spectrum. It is very primitive. Okay, don't use the linear spectrum. Okay, right. So this is how we have to approach the third question. Again, all the rules apply. Presentation, the same thing. Okay, I have seen many people, unfortunately or fortunately, I would say it is fortunately, because they gave me an opportunity to explain, have segregated like this: left, right, tendencies. Please don't do this. Please don't do this. Okay, this is an optional subject. Please don't write like this. For GS, if it is required, I won't say no. GS is okay, because a person who corrects GS, one thing you have to understand, why the optional subject is kept. Optional subject is for specialist. It's for specialist. Okay. The very reason why the optional subject is kept is because any person who is there in the village, who did PhD in political science or MA political science, is very good in political science. Okay. But these coaching institutes has made the GS very simplified to the people in the towns. Okay. But there should be some equal level playing field for the people who are in the village also, who are expert in a subject. Some kind of opportunity for that person should also be given. Okay. Because he might not come to the towns or cities where you learn the art of writing GS. He is an expert in the particular subject. Okay. So, to respect that, this optional subject is kept. So, technically, optional subject will be of a little bit of higher level. I know all of you would have taken PSI for the first time. But that is not the intention. Understand? That is not the intention. If that is the intention, then the optional subject would have been removed. Okay. The intention is the experts in PSIR, the experts in commerce, the experts in biology, the experts in zoology, botany, those people who are already experts in medical science, they should also be given some kind of award, some kind of, so that they write the exam in their own expertise, the field of expertise. The marks should be awarded for that also, to check how well you are an expert in a particular subject, how well you have used that. You understand? So, optional subject, don't do like this. Immediately you show that you are not an expert in the field and you are still a rookie. Yeah, you have just started reading PSIR. Don't show that. Okay. So, there is always a way to write an optional subject, especially for PSIR. I am not going to comment on other subjects like geography, okay, which I am not an expert at. Okay, that only geography sir will tell. I expect to PSIR. Okay, you are expected not to write this way. Okay, because it's an expert subject. Understood? So don't put left, right. Then I wondered why another column center is not there. Don't make me wonder. Okay, right. Fourth question. Comment on constitutionalism as a strategy in INM. As a strategy in INM. Again, there are two technical terms. What are they? I will pick. What are the two technical terms that is there? Yeah, you. Yes. You want to answer? Good. INM. And very good. One is constitutionalism, another one is INM. Okay, two technical terms. What you will introduce? Anything. You will introduce anything. If you want to introduce INM, well, go with it. If you want to introduce constitutional definition, the top, well, good, go with it. Okay, I will prefer INM, but it's a personal preference. But if you want to go with constitutionalism also, you can go with constitutionalism. Even that is good, relatively good. Define constitutionalism at the top. But I would say, first introduce INM, then say there are different strategies that was employed during the Indian national movement, and one such strategy was constitutionalism. Now, body. In the body, what is constitutionalism? What are the pillars of constitutionalism? In the constitutionalism, what I found is the terms like delegation, propaganda, which I explained through PPTs, people have reproduced just like that. See, the central point of the argument you have not understood in my lecture. Partly mistake is also mine. Okay. See, my PPT is misled. If it is misled, again I am telling you, this is only before 1919. I have to understand. I told it many times in the class. Constitutionalism is a strategy by which the Indian freedom fighters want to create lot of political institutions that is independently governed by the Indians. Okay, so that the rule of law exists in Indian society. Okay, that is what the constitution is all about. It had two pillars: using constitutional methods and striving for rule of law. Two pillars. Right? This is how you define constitutionalism. So, constitutionalism does not end with moderates. Again and again, many books do a mistake there. I told you when I took class itself. Okay, ND Avoga, it is written wrongly. Other Delhi IAS academies, I don't want to tell the name of IAS academies. Again, that is written wrongly. Constitutionalism is not only the product of moderates. In my PPT, I would have given very clearly, even though it was predominantly used in the moderate times, it was used till independence. Okay, so you have to understand constitutionalism into two phases. One is before 1919, after 1919. Why I have put 1919 here? Because of the electoral reforms that have come. Even 1909 there is electoral reform, but it is only a partial electoral reform. The full electoral reform comes only in the 1990s. So, before the electoral reforms, who are the lawmakers for India? Britishers. So, Dadabhai Naoroji, Vedder Ben and others, Surendranath Banerjee went to British to do a delegation, to do a propaganda. They sent delegates to the British. You understood? Why it was sent? Because the lawmakers were the British people. So, to enhance the rule of law, you have to delegate. You have to send a delegation to the British Islands. You have to do a propaganda in the British Island. They did it before 1919. But after 1919, who are the lawmakers? Predominantly Indians. Okay, even though not predominantly, powers of lawmaking are also vested with Indians. So, now the same propaganda, same delegation need not go to the British Islands. But lot of other strategies like newspaper they used it, meetings they used it, other strategies like how the communists used the strategy of infiltrating inside the Indian National Congress. All these things they did. Nehru submitted a report called as Nehru Report. All these things are highlighted in one word. So, Indians showed the British that they can also form constitution of their own. Okay. So, this happened after 1919. So, not only delegation or propaganda. I find people writing about delegation, underline it, write 4 points of delegation, propaganda, underline it, that is what there is in the PPT. See, my PPT is misled. I did that to explain. Don't reproduce just like that, or else I change the PPT. Because you are reproducing it. Okay, I did that to explain things so that I can give you certain important points. Okay, so understand constitutionalism is a strategy that was employed by all national leaders of the Indian National Congress till the independence. Initial phase of constitutionalism was led by moderates who believed only in the constitutional method, not in violence, but the later stage was led by both the people who believed in violence, not believed in violence, but they thought that a rule of law should be definitely be there. You understood? So constitutionalism do not get confined to the period of moderates. That's a wrong understanding. Constitutionalism, every time there is constitutionalism. Even now constitutionalism is there. Who told it is not there? Whenever there is a rule of law, whenever people is believing in rule of law, it's a strategy. Okay, there are certain political parties who do not believe in rule of law, but there are certain political parties who still adhere to the rule of law. Okay, whatever they want to do only through the written constitution. Then the idea of constitutionalism is dynamic, it's relevant. Every day it is relevant. Okay, so don't do that mistake again. So these delegation propaganda should be see, this question is only for 150 words. So don't do that. 150 words, then explain what I have explained to you. There's no, just write as a paragraph. So this is what constitution is. So constitution happened at different time periods in different way. One time period was taken by the moderates, the next time period both the extremists, moderates and all the people to constitutionalism, and then comment and finish it, because the question is comment. So what you will write in the conclusion? What you will write in the conclusion? What you will write in the conclusion? Ideally you would say what the constitution has achieved as a strategy. That is what ideally you would say. What it has achieved. It has trained the Indian public in the rule of law. Otherwise they were not trained in it. 2000 years, 1000 years we lived based on caste hierarchies and caste leadership and monarchy. We lived like a subjects. We were not active citizens. We do know their powers. We do not know our powers in a monarchy. Or do we? We were active subjects, not active citizens. Or I would say passive subjects. King said, we obeyed. The caste leader said, we obeyed. The upper caste said, the lower caste obeyed. There was a hierarchy. But this struggle for independence using constitutionalism has taught the Indian public of its rights. What Ambedkar did? Ambedkar taught Dalits their rights. Ambedkar taught even the upper caste, the rights of Dalits. So he taught everyone. Even Dalits has rights. Even the tribes has rights. Even the women has rights. You understood? Though you cannot suppress them. Ambedkar told everyone. So this constitutionalism, the way by which you develop a constitution, this phase has taught the people, the intelligentsia, that even every group has their own individual rights. Dalit has their rights, tribes has their rights, women has their rights. You can conclude that way. You understand? Even that could be a conclusion. Every way, but you have to understand. Okay? Right? I will not say this is the conclusion, but this way you can conclude it. Because the question is comment. Question is comment. Okay? Right? Any doubt immediately then and there ask me. Okay, next question. I want every one of you to the next test that is coming on this Saturday. I think already every one of you would have received the syllabus. Okay? Syllabus is Marxism, again it will come. Socialism, again it will come. But since I have taken some questions from it, new questions I will take. Okay? Marxism, socialism, fascism, conservatism and the theories of state. Okay, all these part will come in this week exam. Okay, paper 1 section B I have not included because it stopped in the half. Fundamental rights are not completed, so I will not ask questions from any part of section B. Only section A this test. Okay, So I want every one of you to implement all the things that we have discussed, especially in the presentation and understanding the central. Immediately seeing the question paper, immediately what you should do? Immediately you should take what is the central point of argument. Immediately all of you, okay, this is the central point. What I am going to write an introduction. Immediately I will see the next question. Let's see the next question. I will explain. What is the next question? Critically examine the strategies of communist ideologues. Critically examine. Very good. Critically examine strategies of communist ideologues. See the question is twisted. Okay, to achieve freedom from the masses during the Indian national movement. Okay, so during Indian national movement, freedom from the masses, I'll skip it as of now, doing INM. The question is little bit twisted. I could have easily asked, critically examine strategies of Communist Party. Correct? I could have easily asked, but instead of using the word Communist Party, I have used the word communist ideologues. Why? You should think. You should think. Why instead of giving Communist Party? So I tend to differentiate. So the question paper maker, so put yourself in my shoes. What is my intention there? That is the reason I said you have to put immediately into my shoes the person who made the question paper and think, what is my intention? The question paper, my intention is, I have differentiated. Communist Party is different, communist ideology is different. There are many people with communist ideology, but they did not associate themselves with the Communist Party. They did not. They wanted to work independently to the people, or they joined another party, but ideologically they are communist. Communist Party was born only in 1920 and 1925, depends. CPA 1920, CPM 1920, CPA 1925, leave it. But communist ideologues are there in India from the later half of 19th century. Okay, many rural areas, in fact in many industries I would say, even before officially a communist party was started in 1920, many factories, they had little bit of trade unions, unsegregated underground trade unions based on communist ideology. The people who were communist ideologues spread communism in trade unions, in factories. You understood? They wanted to liberate the masses. That is there in the question. Freedom of the masses. You understood? So that is my intention. My intention is not about only writing Communist Party. I don't want you to write only about the Communist Party. So I want you to know about this fact that communist ideologues precede Communist Party. That should be there in the answer. I am expecting that. That is the reason I have used the word communist ideologue. You understood? So immediately reading the question, you put yourself in the shoes of the question paper maker and see what is expected. Here I could have easily written critically examine strategies of Communist Party, but I have not done that. I have did critically examine the strategies of communist ideologues. Then you have to write that historical, you have to note, because it's only a 15-mark question. So you need not write length about what is a communist ideologue, all these things, don't define and all. Note it. Communist ideologues were there in India even before the Communist Party was started. I want you to know it. Okay, they adopted different strategies, okay, to achieve the freedom of the masses during the Indian national movement. That is how we have to introduce. Okay, different strategies. Right. So introduce either communist movement first or introduce communist ideologue first. communist ideologues. So your introduction should be communist movement. I will put communist ideologue first, or communist movement. So you can say the communist movement is a movement that was started, that was inspired by the writings of Karl Marx and V.A. Lenin, okay, in the later half of the 19th century. And because, that is the introduction part, and because of the spread of communist movement, many people who inclined towards the ideology of communism started to work independently in India to achieve the freedom of the masses. This is the introduction. Okay, so I introduced communist movement, and I said because of the communist movement that is there, many people of India independently took the ideology of communism and worked to uplift the masses from oppression in India. So what are the strategies? In body, I will write about the strategies. Okay. PPT I have given about two strategies. One is strategy of Communist Party. Another one is strategy of M. N. Roy. Both you can write. Okay. Apart from that, you can also write about what are the other strategies of independent communist, because the question is communist ideologues. You understood? Everything you can write. 15-mark question, 250 words. So you have enough time to write. Okay, you have enough time to write. Slowly write everything, 10 minutes. Okay, then finally conclusion. Question is critically examine. So since it is a critically examine, almost some 60 to 70 words should be kept for the conclusion, where you examine. Almost 60 to 70 words. Out of 250 words, even if it is 80 to 90 words, I will be happy, because question is critically examined. Okay. So after concluding, after writing about the strategies of communist ideologues in a paragraph, or sir, can I use numberings here? This question, if needed, you can number it, but you have to structure it properly. Okay. For example, you shouldn't write the strategies of communist ideologues 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't do it. I will not accept that. Many students have written like that. I have written it is wrong. Okay. Don't do it. Rather, you structure a preceding paragraph. Okay. And a few strategies are listed below. Then go with this numbering. That could be done. Okay. But without any preceding paragraph, don't just put a heading and start numbering. That will mislead, because that will not look like a PSIR paper. Okay. So do this. So communist ideologues, introduce who is a communist ideologue, what is the communist movement in the introduction part. In the body part, you have to write about the strategies, and in the conclusion part, a lengthier conclusion I want, because it is critically examined. A little bit of a lengthier conclusion, 80-90 words conclusion, where you examine the strategies of communist ideologues, how it worked. Okay. So you can say about the violence that was prescribed by most of the communist ideologues during the Indian national movement, distance the common public from joining the Communist Party. Okay. Because the common public do not want to labeled as a outlaw. So all these things, but don't write this as points. This should be a paragraph. Okay. You should not write heading, conclusion, underline it and give some 10 points. Or I have seen in one paper, critical evaluation. That is the heading they are given. And they underline the critical evaluation. Then they have written everything. Please don't do it. This is not a GS paper. Or you are not writing a 12th standard paper. Yeah, this is an optional subject written by experts. Please don't write critical evaluation, point number 1, 2, 3, 4, and finally finish. Hence I conclude there are 5 critical points. Don't do that. Okay. So critical evaluation, 80-90 words you can give it. 60-70 words is also okay. Critically evaluating the strategies which you have written. The communist strategies has failed predominantly except for certain regions like Kerala, West Bengal. In Tamil Nadu itself, only few regions in Tanjavur where the communist strategies has worked. Otherwise, the communist practice predominantly failed. I'll give you an example. During, before independence, almost, there were more than 1 lakh members in Tamil Nadu. More than 1 lakh members in Communist Party. But around 1948, immediately after the independence, Communist Party of Tamil Nadu declared violence, okay, to overthrow the Indian state. Okay, so many communist leaders started to take bombs in their hands. All these things are forgotten history. No one will speak about that today. Okay, no one will speak about that today. All will say they fought in a legal way, but that is wrong. Truth is, many communist leaders today, even the so-called great leaders of today, took bombs in their hand and they fought against Indian independent India to bring about a communist state. Okay. Because of that, within a month or so, 1 lakh membership reduced to 9,000. That is recorded history. Recorded history. So Indian public immediately distanced themselves from Communist Party. All the trade unions, they immediately withheld, they gave away the membership. Okay, they want to come out of, because fearing the punishment of independent India. They don't want to be punished. So that is how the nature of Indian public was. Okay, so this critical comment you can give it. All these things when I took class I didn't take, because no time. PSIR is a bigger syllabus. Okay, okay. But as I have already told you, these things you have to work it out. That is the reason special sessions I keep like this, where I try to answer certain questions, queries of you, so that I could train you. Okay, this you have to work it out. If you have any problem working it out, come and meet me, I'll help you. Okay, right. 6th question. One minute. Describe the behavioral revolution and its significance in development of the study of politics. Describe. So I understand, since describe, I need not give a lot of critical comments. So that is lesser. Okay, immediately that comes in my mind. Then I have to find out what is the central point. There are 2 points that is there. One is study of politics, another one is behavioral revolution. Okay. So what I will introduce now, there are 2 central points, 2 technical terms, study of politics and behavioral revolution. So it is asking me to describe the behavioral revolution and its significance. So the question itself has an order. The question itself has an order. First behavioral revolution, then study of politics. So I don't want to disturb the order. So introduction. Define behavioral revolution. Body, for few length, say it's a 250 words question. So including the introduction and the body, you can take some 100 words, including the introduction, or some 90 words, so 90 to 100 words, where you can explain or describe a behavioral revolution. What is that behavioral revolution? Because the question is describe behavioral revolution and its significance. I am not asked describe the significance of behavioral revolution in the development of study of politics. If I have asked describe the significance of behavioral revolution in the study of politics, then after behavioral revolution directly I should go to the significance of this. I should not describe behavioral revolution for another 60-70 words. You got it? You got it? How the question differs. If I have asked describe the significance of behavioral revolution in the development of study of politics, then define behavioral revolution, that's it. Don't describe behavioral revolution, only define it for 30 words. Directly go to answering. What is the answer? What is the significance of behavioral revolution in the study of politics? Directly. But see the question. The question has two parts. First part is describe behavioral revolution. Second part, describe significance of the development of behavioral revolution in the development of study of politics. So the question has two parts. You understood? So both the part you have to justify. Total 250 words, 15 marks. So internally, maybe the person would have kept 7.5 marks for each, maybe, or the person would have kept 6 or 9 marks for each, maybe, that you do not know. Okay, because internal segregation is not mentioned in the question paper. But you know the 15-mark question, and the question has two parts. So it is up to you to segregate it. In all these things should come in mind in 10 seconds. Reading the question itself, you should know what is expected. That is the reason I said put yourself in the shoes of the question paper maker as the first step. Why I said this is because of this. Okay, because I could have easily asked describe the significance of behavioral revolution in the study of politics. Okay, but I have not asked that. I have asked describe behavioral revolution and its significance. I use the word and. So I need you to describe, I expect you to describe behavioral revolution for some length. Then I expect you to describe the significance of behavioral revolution for another part. So I expect the question to be separated into two different parts. That is what my expectation as a question paper setter. Okay, immediately you have to put in my shoes and you have to understand what is my expectation. So sir used the word and. So if it is and, then there is two parts. So both parts I have to write this much. What much you decide. You decide. So I would say around some 100 words for behavioral revolution, another 100 words for study of politics, remaining 50 words for conclusion, or 120 words for study of politics and remaining 30 words for conclusion. That is how I would say. Okay. So describe what is the behavioral revolution. Some people have given the 8 points, verification, all these things. I would say it is not required. Okay, you just say what is the behavioral revolution, who started the movement, Charles Mariam and others, and it is about checking the behavior of the individual in the political situation. All these things we explain, that is enough, because for 100 words that is enough. Okay, then come to the significance of the development of the study of politics. So what are the significance? Many people have written correctly that it introduced science in politics, it introduced empiricity in politics, it introduced the concept of verification and everything in politics, very good. Along with that, behavioral revolution has a historical specificity of separating politics or making politics a specialist discipline. Before the behavioral revolution, historians were writing politics. Sociologists were writing politics, but behavioral revolution made politics a specialized subject. It set out to find the meaning of politics. It set out to find the significance of a political man. All these things you mentioned that. Okay. So it has did a lot of historical functions. If you want, you can also give a negative comment also, because its significance. Okay. So positive point all you give it, but at the same time you can say the behavioral revolution was also responsible in the reduction of the philosophical content, the theoretical content in the study of politics. So political theory started to decline a little bit during the behavioral revolution time. You can say the other side of it and finish it one line. and come to the conclusion. Conclusion you conclude because it is described. So behavioral revolution did the most important part of bringing the scientific quotient into the study of politics, and that the legacy of the behavioral revolution is continued till date, which makes the political science subject a specialized discipline even today. Concluded, simple conclusion, no critical conclusion. I have said because of behavioral revolution, political science still continues to be a specialized subject even till date. I have concluded that way, like glorifying a little bit of behavioral revolution because the question is described. So no sir, I don't believe so. I thought that behavioral revolution, because one person argued, I thought that behavioral revolution did important mistake by bringing a lot of scientific quotient. It took away the theoretical aspect a lot. No problem. If you feel it that way, write that as a conclusion. No problem. Okay. See, because the expert will come and correct. He also knows. Behavioral revolution, even though the behavioral revolution a lot of positive points, it did some historical mistake, little bit of too much emphasis on empathy. Okay. So that you want to put in the conclusion, even though the question is not comment. You want to put in the conclusion, you can definitely do it. I will not individually stop it. It will also give you good marks. But it is all about how you argue. Okay. Always remember this important rules which I have told you. Okay. Any doubt in this? So this question you have to know immediately how many parts this question has. This question is a little bit tricky, that this question has two parts. Describe behavioral revolution and its significance. I use the word and in the middle. Okay, and in the middle. So I am not asked describe the significance of behavioral revolution. Okay. Right. Seventh question. All this you should know. Okay, that is the reason I said, what is the very first step when you see a question paper? You have to put yourself in the shoes of the question paper maker. That is the very first step. Put in my shoes. Tomorrow, next week, Saturday, you will be writing a question answer. Right? Immediately, who should come in your mind? I should come in your mind. What is the logic by which sir would have asked this question? Okay, immediately I should come in your mind. Think like me. Think like me. Think you are a detective trying to solve a problem, a crime that has happened. Some person has killed a woman. Okay, sorry, a man. You are going to be a detective, you are going to solve it. Okay, what you will do? You will put yourself in the mind of the killer. Correct? You have not seen a lot of crime movies, huh? All are very serious. Okay, so you will put yourself in the mind of a killer. How the killer would have killed, what would be in the mind before committing this crime. Will you think or not? Will you think or not? Similarly, put yourself in this criminal's mind. Why this fellow has asked this question? Why? What is his intention? Okay, put yourself in my shoes. Then answer it. Okay. Seventh question, I'm sorry. Critically examine the concept of historical materialism. Direct question. But I use the word critically examine. Otherwise, completely direct. Historical materialism of Marx. Okay. So, no confusion, only one technical term. Okay, that is historical materialism. I have seen many people introducing Marx. Okay, don't do that. Directly go to what is the historical materialism. I would suggest first should be a quote. Because it's a famous quote. Okay, what is the first act of history? The quote that I put that in the PPT. Okay, if the people are not happy with the PDF and the PPT for Karl Marx, very few people are loaded. I will also upload another book, another part as a PDF very soon. That is written by Lewis A. Kosser, Masters of Sociological Thought. I have uploaded it already. If I have not, I will upload it very soon. Okay. that you read that particular part. If possible, I will cut it and send only that particular part for Karl Marx. It's very good. Okay, I read that for sociology, and that is also useful for your historical materials for political science also. Okay, I will upload it. Okay, if you are not happy with the PPT and the PDF which I have already uploaded, if you think it is not explaining fully. Okay, so direct question, introduction, historical materialism. Don't eulogize Karl Marx because Sir likes it. Marx is the greatest philosopher of all time. Unfortunately or fortunately, the person who corrects the answer that side, okay, might not be a Marxist. Okay, I am, but that doesn't mean that I will give you marks. Okay, don't do that. Introduce historical materialism, then body, critically examine. Okay, so typically the body should consist of two parts. One is explaining historical materialism, another one is critical examination of the historical materialism, and immediately you can conclude with this critical examination itself. Other way also you can conclude. For example, I will tell you, you write about historical materialism for 90 words. This is 250 words. Okay, so definition 30 words. Okay, so remaining you would be having some 190 words, is it? Conclusion 30 words. So in this 190 words, put it this way, historical materialism you write for 100 words. Historical materialism you write for 100 words. Critical evaluation, another 190 words. Now what should come in the conclusion? Because what you have did is, you have written the critical evaluation in the body itself. So you can conclude positively also. So even though there are a lot of criticisms in Marxism and this concept of historical materialism, even though there is a lot of, but this ideology of historical materialism has been extremely useful to understand the sociological aspect of human history from the ancient times. You can conclude that way, because that is the truth. Even though Marx's ideas of historical materialism and all the other things, the movement of history, no one accepts this today, but it has a profound impact in the creation of sociology as subject. Sociology subject. The social sciences developed because of the concept of history that was developed by Karl Marx. That's a positive point. Even today, that is the reason they would say, masters of sociology, as I said, if we read any social science, Karl Marx will come in first. Reason being, his theories has created so much of impact in social sciences, which you can mention in the conclusion. Okay, anything you can do, or you write it in the body and you keep a critical conclusion. Okay, so you find that you write that, so historical materialism is extremely outdated, and we find that the movement of history could not be kept true in today's world. It is not true, of course. Okay, because communism has already failed. You can also note that the communism has failed in many countries, so it signifies the concept of historical materialism, that the emergence of communist society will not happen. Okay, that is what Marx said. Historical materialism, a new society will be born, a communist society. So few students have written like that. Good conclusion. Okay, so communist society will be born, which communist society has failed. So you say that historical materialism has failed in the conclusion. Nothing wrong with it. Okay, so either way you can go about it, guys. Right. 8th question. A bigger question, I cannot write it now, okay, because half of the time it will take. The question is very simple. The question, 1 minute. The question asks you to compare the Gramscian technique of war of position and war of maneuvering with that of Gandhi's or Indian national movement. I read the question again. Sorry, I cannot type it. The strategic practice of Indian national movement, especially during its leadership by Gandhiji, has a certain significance in the world history comparable to that of British, French, Russian, Chinese, Cuban and Vietnamese revolutions. India is the only actual historical example of semi-democratic or democratic type of state structure being replaced or transformed by a broadly Gramscian theoretical perspective of a war of position being successfully practiced. Explain. This is a quote which I have directly taken from Bipin Chandra's history book, India's Struggle for Independence. Okay. So what he tries to say? War of position. What is war of position? Antonio Gramsci said, capitalists do not rule us by force. Capitalists rule us because of the legitimacy, the ideological legitimacy that we are given, the hegemony, the leadership that we are given in the capitalist ethos, the capitalist institutions in our mind. Correct or not? We believe that is the best way. We believe capitalism is the best philosophy. Capitalist institutions are the best institutions. If capitalism is not there, then we will suffer. That is, so Antonio Gramsci said, first you have to do a war of position. You have to break the position that capitalist ethos, capitalist institutions have in the human mind, in the people's mind. First break it. Then develop an alternative ideology and fix that in the people's brain. If not for capitalism, even if you have socialism or something else, you will be happy. Tell them. This is called as war of position. Okay. After doing this, after replacing the leadership, the hegemony of the capitalists from your brain, from the human being's mind, the leadership of the capitalist ethos, the leadership of the capitalist leadership, the capitalist institutions, everything you have, after negating everything, then the time is ripe for you to do a war of maneuver, war of movement. You understood? Then form a war. Then form an army, create a war. So, immediately starting an army and waging a war against capitalists will not help. Because they do not control you by force. If they are controlling you by force, you can immediately take another army and fight. Force meet. Who is winner? The forceful person wins. But the capitalist is not controlling by you by force. They are controlling by the legitimacy that you are given. You have accepted their ethos. You have accepted their leadership. You have accepted their institution as best institution. Then how can you win capitalism by force? Says Antonio Gramsci. So you cannot win capitalism by force, but rather you can win. First step is war of position. You break that. You break that leadership, break that institution. Then replace it with your own institution. Replace it with your own ethos. War of position. Then do a war of maneuvering. Form an army, by force capture power. So Bipin Chandra says this was brilliantly practiced only in India, nowhere else under the Gandhi's leadership. Now you have to relate it. How Mahatma Gandhi by different techniques broke the leadership, the legitimacy we as Indians gave to British ethos, British institutions. All of us want to dress like British, quote. All of us want to speak in English. Okay, so we like emulating a British, we like emulating the Englishman, we are proud to emulate an Englishman. Gandhi broke it. He developed an alternative idea of nationalism and kept that, spread that in your mind. Okay, so Gandhi broke it. He dressed like a common villager. Sometimes he wears nothing. Okay, small piece of cloth. Sometimes a small dhoti. Okay, he behaved like a very, very common man. He made even the Britishers like the Gandhian way of living, the Khadi. Forget the Indians. The Britishers started to eulogize the simplicity of Mahatma Gandhi. He developed the idea of nationalism, the alternative idea of nationalism, and spread that to every nook and corner of India. The peasant, the women, the tribes, the Dalits, so-called Harijans, everyone started to accept the Gandhi way of life, Gandhi's way of leadership. Not just Gandhi, all the other leaders, Ambedkar is also part of it. Okay, everyone developed the alternative ideology of nationalism and made the Indians believe that if not for British, still you can be happy. War of position, relate it. Okay, you have to relate it and write it in the paper. Then come to the other part, war of maneuvering. Simple, that's it. Okay, so introduce, either way you can introduce. Okay, Gramscian technique you introduce, then directly go to the body. Since the question is explained, so you need not examine it, finish it off with a positive conclusion, that's it. Understood? Right? Okay, let's go to the 9th question now. Explain, again explain the central tenets of liberalism. Direct question, only direct question in the total question paper, where you need not think a lot. Introduction, define liberalism, because there is only one technical term, nothing to think there. Body, what are the central tenets? I have given you 6 central tenets. First one is individual, second one is freedom, third one is reason, fourth one is tolerance, value pluralism, fifth one is multi-party electoral democracy, sixth one is free market. These are the 6 tenets which I gave you in class. Conclusion. What is conclusion? See what is the question, explain. So you need not give any critical conclusion. Reiterate what you have said, hence reiterate and write it down. That's a direct question. If you correctly reproduce it, out of 20, if the handwriting is good, you will get to the maximum of 14 marks. Maximum. Depends upon the handwriting. What I found is, people only write the headings correctly. Inside all stories, they write only the headings. Okay. Sometimes they also include other things like equality. I won't say you don't do it. It's up to you. These are the 6 tenets which I have given. Andrew Haywood gave different 6 tenets. He also included justice and all the other things. So everyone has their own way of answering. Either way you can do it, guys. But this is the ideal thing. Okay, direct question, right? So any doubt in this, online students? No. I hope all of you by now would have understood how to answer. This Saturday, as I already told you, you have an exam. I will give answer sheet, try to give it within 2 weeks, because this time I took 3 weeks. Next time I will be relatively free, so I will give you, I plan within 2 weeks. We will also have individual sessions. Okay, I like to speak with all of you individually also. Okay, so I prefer all of my students write. There are many students here who have not written. Okay, I will suggest please write. Only then I will know where you stand. Okay, if I don't know where you stand, then I lose an opportunity to teach you. Okay, I want all of my students to clear. If not this very first attempt, at least the second attempt. Okay, so I want every one of to clear. So for that, if only if I know where you stand in the ways of preparation, then I can help you. Okay, so please write. I want all people to write the test, next test that is coming on Saturday. Okay, with respect to online students, tomorrow we will have the online meeting, Zoom meeting individually for those 3 students. Okay, thank you. Thank you.